Now on Denver 7 News, just 2 months from the midterm elections, a harsh warning from Colorado's Secretary of State. Why she says the future of free elections is at stake this November.
The number of people coming out of retirement is going up. Now, everybody loves to get paid, but we're asking whether it's worth the impact to your health. And flight prices are going down right now. We are taking a look at just how much and when you should book.
Plus, a major change at the top of the Broncos organization. Meet the team's new president and hear his plans for the future of the franchise. Thank you for joining us. I'm Micah Smith. We start off with Colorado's Secretary of State speaking out and warning Americans about the future of free elections. Jena Griswold gave an interview to The Guardian this weekend. She said many Americans could lose the right to vote in less than 3 months, depending on the outcome of the election. That's because of candidates running for major positions across the country who continue to believe in and spread lies about the 2020 election.
There are nominees for Secretary of State who are election deniers running in Nevada, Arizona, Michigan, Minnesota, and New Mexico, just to say a few. And I think what we can expect from these candidates is putting up barriers to make it harder for Americans to vote should they win.
In Colorado, Republican Pam Anderson beat out one of the biggest election deniers in the country, Tina Peters. Anderson tells Denver 7 she trusts Colorado's elections. She's now running against Griswold. It was a violent weekend across the metro on Saturday and Sunday. Police responded to 5 different shootings in Denver and Aurora. 2 people died and 8 others were hurt. There have been no arrests. And one of those shootings happened early Sunday morning in Denver's Sunnyside neighborhood. In total, 4 people were shot and 2 of them were children. One of the adult victims is a man named Tomas Jimenez, who unfortunately was killed. We spoke to his sister, who believes the shooting happened after a house party got out of control.
He wasn't a boy. He wasn't 20 years old. He was a 41-year-old man who was living his life in his home, you know, doing what he thought was right to come out here. They took somebody that touched many lives that nobody can get back.
If you have any information about this shooting or the other 4 incidents, call police or Metro Denver Crime Stoppers. Inflation is hitting Colorado hard, making it difficult for many to pay their rent. That's why Arapahoe County has opened an eviction clinic to help. As Denver 7's Veronica Acosta tells us, the clinic has been so busy, it's struggling to keep up with demand.
A quiet space is unusual here. Normally, there aren't just 2 people in this room. There's usually a line of residents waiting their turn for help to keep a roof over their heads.
It's incredibly busy. We can really only help about 3 people per attorney a day.
And Megan O'Byrne is currently the only attorney working the Arapahoe Eviction Clinic, which opened back in May.
Unfortunately, we had to turn away people, so we're working on adding another attorney so we can help more people. But it's been very popular and highly utilized by the tenants, the low-income tenants in Arapahoe County.
For those who come in, this building, this room, is their last line of help.
It's majority single moms, I would say. It's a lot of people of color and mostly families. It's a lot of families, moms with kids. It's really devastating.
The 2 women here and Megan help residents at risk for eviction.
They come to us so that we can assert legal defenses to help them buy time, hopefully to get the money together if it's a non-payment case where they owe their landlord rent, or to assert any defenses that they do have so that they can contest the action in court if it comes to that.
Sometimes even getting them the money to pay off the balance they have.
To be honest, it's a really hard job.
But at the end of the day, the goal is always the same. Keep roofs over families' heads and keep this room empty. In Arapahoe County, I'm Veronica Acosta, Denver 7.
The ex-partner of former Aurora Police Chief Vanessa Wilson was supposed to be in court this afternoon, but the hearing has now been rescheduled for the middle of October. Robin Nicita has retained a new attorney who asked for more time to review her case. The prosecution did not object. She's charged with falsely reporting that Aurora City Council member Danielle Jurinsky sexually abused her own son. The State Department of Human Services is also looking into other potential fraud and child safety concerns following the claims made against Nicita. A former Greenwood Village police officer accused of shooting and killing an Aurora teenager is also in court for an arraignment this afternoon. Court documents say Adam Holen confronted a group of teens last November after believing they were driving carelessly. He then shot and killed 17-year-old Peyton Blitzstein. Blitzstein's family filed a wrongful death lawsuit earlier this month, saying Holen acted negligently.
What a bummer at Cape Canaveral today. Crews are trying to reschedule the next day that NASA could launch their unmanned capsule that will orbit the moon. Friday's the earliest it could happen. A fuel leak and engine issues scrapped today's launch that so many people were looking forward to. Test dummies will be on board for the ride to collect data. Their mission will last 6 weeks before they return to Earth and splash into the Pacific. Now, it's been 5 years since the FDA approved CAR T cell therapy to treat certain blood cancers. It works by changing how our T cells work in our immune system. Now, the cells are taken from a patient, then they're trained to identify and fight cancer cells, then they're put back into a patient. Doctors say it can really lead to a better quality of life compared to other cancer treatments, but there are still a lot of barriers right now. Only about 200 cancer centers across the country offer the treatment, and medical experts at Cardinal Health say that has to do with the rare but severe complications that this therapy can cause.
As we gradually get better and better at predicting, preventing, and managing that severe toxicity, the hope is that we can start to move the entire therapy in an outpatient setting, and with that, move it out of the 200 limited centers where it can become an available therapy in any community you live in.
Right now, they're trying to make that a reality, but cost is a huge hurdle for many patients. CAR T cell therapy can run between $375,000 all the way up to $1 million, but it is treatment that can last a lifetime, they say.
So that you can amortize cost over time. And it could be a shared process so that a given insured at any moment doesn't have to absorb the entire burden of a disease, of a treatment that could reduce cost over the next 3 decades.
He says that lawmakers could really play a huge role when it comes to policy, when it comes to handling cost on a national level. The next step, they're also looking to expand at the types of cancers that CAR T therapy can treat, as well as chronic diseases. Now, more kids are being poisoned accidentally with button batteries. We're talking about those little batteries. See one right there on your screen, maybe in your remote, maybe in your key fob. But poisonings from these batteries doubled from 2010 to 2019 compared to the decade before, according to a new study in the journal Pediatrics. Doctors say if a child swallows that tiny battery, it could burn their throat. It could even be deadly. In fact, a new law that President Biden just signed this month aims to prevent these cases. It's called Reese's Law, after a child who died swallowing a button battery. Now, under the law, the Consumer Product Safety Commission will have to develop new safety standards for the batteries, including safer packaging and better warning labels. Also, making the spots where these batteries go inside devices more secure. The agency has a year to come up with these standards. Until then, doctors say avoid changing batteries in front of young children and also throw out dead batteries immediately. Now, we did put right there that number on the bottom of your screen, the Poison Control Helpline, available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now, resignations in education have been growing faster than any other industry.
When you just feel like what you're doing isn't valued and isn't respected, and you're being degraded for it, even within your own profession, those who can get out, I think, are getting out.
We're taking a look at how we got to this point when it comes to education and where the situation could be headed next.
Plus, the Central 70 project is nearing completion. We're taking a look at what's left before it is finally finished. Next.